Just the backdrop, we read how Yaakov is returning after being away for 36 years. When he had fled from his parents' home, as Chazal, the Gemara, the Midrash tells us, and Rashi cites it in the earlier Pasha, that he had spent 14 years studying Torah and Shem Ve'ever. And then he spent 14 years working for the two wives, and then 6 years earning his wealth, and he was 2 years on the road, returning home. So he hadn't seen his father for 36 years. In the interim, his mother passed away. His mother was no longer alive. So Yaakov now is finally coming back, and he's hoping that Esav had forgotten what had happened. Because initially, Esav had vowed to kill Yaakov for what he had done. And his mother said, you go to my brother Lavan, and hopefully he will forget. Now Yaakov wants to now test the waters. Did he forget? Did he not forget? So the Torah tells us, "Vayishlach Yaakov malochim lefonov." Now there's a question: what does malochim mean? Malochim, as we know, means angels. He sent angels before him. El Esav Achiv. Yaakov sent angels. Arzo Seir Sdei Edom, to the land of Seir, the field of Edom. That's Esav's stronghold. So Rashi over here cites Chazal. Malochim Mamosh. He sent angels. Of course, Maloch could also mean a human angel, mortal angel. But here, no, Malochim means he sent angels. Arza Seir, Eretz Seir, it's okay. Rashi deals with the grammar. Now the question is, why did Yaakov have to send angels? So over here, the Or Chaim HaKadosh explains that we can't even relate to the level of guile that Esav had. Impossible. We're going to see later, when he is mispalel, that Hashem should protect him from Esav. Hatzileni no miyad ochi miyad Esav. Save me from the hand of my brother, from Esav. My brother, he wants to kill me. Esav's level of guile and deception is at a level, although I know who he is, when I confront him, he has the ability to disarm me, to express and show a level of warmth that I'll forget who he is. I won't be able to even sense that he wants to kill me. And if I lose my sense of that reality, I'll be vulnerable to his attack. He will kill me. That's Hatzleinu no miyad ochi miyad Esav. Now, Yaakov is testing the waters. Did Esav forget? Or Esav, his hate is no less, and he's still in the mindset he wants to kill me. If he sends mortal angels to make this evaluation, there's no way to make this evaluation. Humanly, it's impossible to know this. The only agents who were able to make this evaluation are only real angels. They have to be spiritual beings. In terms of your cloaked with your in your human form, as mortals, you cannot begin assessing this reality. The only one who can make this assessment are only Malochim. Malochim mamish, real angels. That's the reason why Yaakov sent angels rather than sending mortal agents to see to make this evaluation, this assessment. Secondly, he says, what would be, you send angels, you send regular agents, and Esav kills the agents. He kills them because they're representing Yaakov. Before Yaakov realizes it, Esav's at his doorstep. What is he going to do? He sends Malochim, they come back instantaneously. Firstly, they make the assessment, because only angels could. And even if a human being could make this assessment, what would be if he would kill them? Therefore, the only way to deal with this is sending real angels. They make the assessment, he can't kill them, they go and they come back immediately, and he's alerted if actually he's the same enemy that he was originally. This is how the Or Chaim explains why it was Malochim Mamish, they were real angels for this reason. Okay? which is good, because the simple understanding is a person doesn't draw on angels. We don't burden Hashem if we're able to do something in the conventional way. There's no reason to send angels if you could send mortals. So the answer is there was no way to send. In terms of the objective that Yaakov wanted to accomplish, it could be nothing less than angels. That's how the Orach HaKodesh explains why it was Malachim Mamosh. They had to be angels. But the question is, Yaakov sent these angels to Har Seir. Yaakov could have come back to Eretz Yisrael without Esav even knowing it. Why did he have to alert him that he's coming? He alerted him that he was coming. And the Midrash cites a pasuk in Mishlei that you don't awaken a sleeping dog, that Yaakov made a mistake. He really shouldn't have alerted him that he was coming, because now that he alerted him he was coming, immediately touched something in Esav, which brought back that original hate, ignited that hate, that now Esav's coming to kill him. But he could have bypassed him, and he wouldn't have even known. And the Midrash says, what is it analogous to? You have a person traveling, and he comes to a crossroads, and there's a person sleeping at the crossroads. Who's this person? The person who's sleeping at the crossroads is a bandit, a highwayman. So the person's traveling, and he awakens him. He says, by the way, I heard there's a bandit, there's a highwayman in this area. Do I have to be concerned? He didn't have to waken him. He awoke the sleeping dog. That's the midrash, because the pasuk Mishlei says, well, if you awaken the dog, you get bitten by the dog. So here Yaakov made a mistake. He shouldn't have awakened him. He shouldn't have. Because now Esav, what did angels come back with the news? He's coming against you with 400 men. First, what is 400 men? Is 400 men, he has 400 men, or 400 men means each person is a general representing thousands of troops. He's coming with tens of thousands of troops against Yaakov to destroy him. That's what he's coming. So Yaakov understands he has a major battle on his hand. That's what's happening. Now, it's interesting. People only make mistakes because Hashem wants them to make a mistake. Though there's nowhere does it even allude that Yaakov sinned by sending angels to make this assessment. It was a mistake. But you know, when Hashem wants you to make a mistake, you make a mistake because it has value. We find that Yaakov, as he runs towards Esav, he bows 7 times. 7 times he bows. And then finally, he stands up, and they meet, and they embrace. That he bowed 7 times somehow touched Esav, and it touched a merciful chord in him, and they embraced, and Esav cried. And immediately, the hate was dispelled immediately. That's number 1. When he presents his family to Esav, each one of his children and the wives, they bow to Esav. Out of respect, they bow. The only child who did not bow to Esav was Binyamin, because Rachel was pregnant with Binyamin, he wasn't born yet. That every one of the children bowed to Esav. So as a result of bowing to Esav, it had a consequence. First, what was the value? That Yaakov bowed 7 times to Esav. You know, Hashem says, you, my beloved servant, you're bowing to this evil heathen. It's not appropriate. But he did it. Therefore, the kings of Edom will proceed. There'll be 8 kings of Edom, or 7 kings of Edom, before the king of Israel will be installed as a melech. So there were 7 generations of kings before Klal Yisrael had their first king. Before Shaul became the king of Israel, there were 7 kings of Edom. For each time he bowed, that was another level of subjugation that they had royalty officially and we did not. That's number one. The answer is that's Hashgacha. That's the way Hashem wants it, number one. Secondly, who is the host of the Shekhinah? The Aron, in whose portion was the Aron in the Beis HaMikdash? So the Gemara says the Aron was Binyamin was Ushvizichne Shel Shekhinah. Binyamin was the host of the Shekhinah. The Aron was in the portion of Binyamin. Why? So there are many reasons given. The Gemara says one reason, the Midrash says another reason, but there's a Midrash, one Midrash says that because since he was the only son who did not bow to Esav, he was not tainted. To bow to Esav, that should be the location for the Shekhinah. The Shekhinah could only be in a location which it was never in any way subordinated to evil. Therefore, the only one's portion who qualified to be the portion where the Aron should be located, it's only the portion of Binyamin, not the other brothers, not the other Shvatim, the other tribes. And therefore, Binyamin merited to be Ushmizichne Shel Shekhinah. He was the host of the Shekhinah, therefore the Aron was in his portion, not in the other one's portion.
Rabbi?
1 second. They had to do what they had to do. Yaakov made the mistake. He's not faulted. It's not a sin. It's not in any way identified. It's a lack of faith. He activated him. And whatever happened. But all this interaction had many consequences and ramifications which touch upon the infrastructure of Klal Yisrael into the future. Because he did what he did. Go ahead, Ernie.